afternoon to all. In the last class, we had a detailed discussion about the source transformation techniques. We also solved multiple problems on source transformation techniques. In this class, I would like to discuss the important topic of circuit theory called mesh analysis. Mesh analysis. Mesh. Before going to solve some problems, we would like to see some basics about mesh analysis. So here, first of all, so what is mesh? What is mesh? Mesh is a loop. Mesh is a loop which does not contain any other loop in it. Any other loop in it. So mesh is a loop that does not contain any other loop in it. Okay. So this mesh analysis is applicable to only planar networks. Only planar networks. Planar networks. So a network is said to be planar. It can be drawn on a two-dimensional plane without any crossover. Without any crossover. That means, so if you take any network on a two-dimensional space, if you draw that network without any crossover, then it is said to be a planar one. It is said to be a planar one. Okay. So when it is said to be a non-planar one means, so if you draw another network, okay. So if a network is such a crossovers, then this network is said to be a non-planar one. Planar one. So this mesh analysis is not applicable to non-planar networks, and it is applicable to only planar networks. And coming to another important thing about the mesh analysis. Mesh analysis is an application of KVL. Application of KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law. So if a network consists of more number of voltage sources, then mesh analysis is suitable technique to solve such a network with more number of voltage sources. So to understand better about the mesh analysis, let me consider one simple example to study in detail about mesh analysis. So for that, consider a network with some resistances R1, R2, R3, and series with a battery. Here consists of a supply consists of one more resistance. Here again one more resistance. Called as V1. Here it is V2, and it is R1, R2, and R3, R4, R5. 5. Okay. So the first step in applying mesh analysis or loop analysis is you just assume the loop currents. And loop current directions. So here, how many loops are there? There are 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. 3 loops are there. For 3 loops, you have to assume 3 loop currents. So for simplicity, take all loop currents are in positive direction. So call it as I1, I2 and I3. I1, I2, I3. Okay, then you apply the KVL for each loop. KVL for each loop. Okay, now apply KVL for loop 1. Loop 1. So what KVL says, the algebraic sum of all branch voltages around any closed loop is equal to 0, or the sum of the voltage drops around any closed path is equal to the sum of the voltage applied in that loop. So if you consider the first loop, there are two resistors leads to voltage drop VR1, VR2. Okay, that must be equals to V1. So therefore here, okay, VR1 is equal plus VR2 is equal to V1 is equal to V1. Okay, so while coming to the direction for V1 or sign for V1, when current is leaving from positive anode, you consider the voltage as positive. Okay, so for VR1, using Ohm's law, calculate VR1 and VR2. So what is VR1? VR1 is voltage drop across R1. So how can you get voltage drop across R1? Okay, VR1 is equal to current flowing through R1 multiplied with R. So what is current flowing through R1? It is equal to I1. So therefore VR1 is equal to I1 into R1 plus, for VR2, what is the current flowing through R2? Current flowing through R2 is I1 is flowing downwards, whereas I2 is flowing upwards. So therefore, the current flowing through R2 is equal to the difference between these two. So for that, this should be considered as a greater. Okay. For that, while writing loop equations for any loop, consider that particular loop current is greater than remaining loop currents. So here we are writing loop equation for first loop. So therefore, I1 is greater than remaining two currents. So therefore, the current flowing through R2 is equal to I1 minus I2. So therefore, I1 minus I2 into R2 is equal to V1. So therefore, here I1 into R1 plus I1 into R2 minus I2 into R2 is equal to V1. So from this we can write R1 plus R2 into I1 minus I2 into R2 is equal to V1. So consider it as equation 1. Okay, now you apply loop equation for second loop. Applying KVL for loop 2. Okay, so in loop 2, there is no source at all, but there are three resistances R2, R3, R4. Okay, so therefore here VR2 plus VR3 plus VR4 is equal to 0. So what is VR2? I into R2. What is I? Okay, so here now we are writing I is coming to the current flowing through R2. Again, I1 is flowing downwards, I2 is flowing upwards. Okay, but now we are writing loop equation for second loop. So therefore, the current flowing through R2 is equal to I2 minus I1. Okay, so R2 into I2 minus I1 plus, for R3, the current flowing through R3 is only I2. So therefore, I2 into R3 plus, for R4, again, the I2 is flowing downwards and I3 is flowing upwards. Okay. Therefore, the current flowing through R4 is I2 minus I3 is equal to 0. So from this here, R2 into I2 minus R2 into I1, okay, plus I2 into R3 plus I2 into R2 minus R2 into I3 is equal to 0. Is equal to 0. So therefore, minus I1 into R1 plus for second R2 plus R3. Okay, R2, R3, and this is R4. Okay, so R2 plus R3 plus R4 into I2 minus R2 into R4 into I3 is equal to 0. Okay, you call it as some equation. Now you apply KVL for loop 3. Okay, applying KVL for loop 3. So here, what are the resistances? VR4 and VR5. VR4 and VR4. So VR4 plus VR5 is equal to, while considering the polarity of V2, so here for V2, the current is entering with positive. Whereas for reference V1, the current is leaving with positive, but for V2 entering with positive, so therefore which is opposite to the reference one. So therefore for V2 you have to get minus sign. So minus V2. Okay. So here, what is VR4? VR4 is current flowing through R4 into R. What is current flowing through R4? I2 and I3. I2 is coming downwards and I3 is flowing upwards. So therefore R4 into I3 minus I2 plus R5. The current flowing through R5 is only I3. So I3 into R5 is equal to minus 1. So this gives minus R4 into I2 plus R4 plus R5 into I3 is equal to minus V2. So this consider this is equation 3. Now you represent these three equations, equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3 in terms of matrix. So that looks like this. Okay. So here that looks like this. I1, I2, and I3, I1, I2, I3, which is equal to, from the first equation, what are the I1 coefficients? R1 plus R2. So R1 plus R2, then I2 coefficient minus R2. There is no R3 coefficient, so 0. Coming to second equation, minus R1, okay, and here I2 coefficient R2 plus R3 plus R4. For I3 minus R4 is 0 here. Here for first equation, the coefficient right side constant is V1. And some third equation, 0 minus R4 plus R4 plus R5 minus. So if you solve this matrix using Cramer's rule, okay, you can get here I1, I2, and I3. I1, I2, I3. Okay, not only Cramer's rule, you can also solve these three equations by using calculator. Okay, okay. Simply go to equation solving. You can get I1, I2, I3. So once we get I1, I2, I3, I1, I2, I3, so we can calculate the current flowing through any resistance here. Okay, na? Any resistance here. Okay, current flowing through. So here the current flowing through R1 is equal to I1. Current flowing through R1 is equal to I1. We want to calculate current flowing through R1. Okay, so here IR1 is equal to I1. Current flowing through, if you want to calculate current flowing to R2, IR2 is equal to IR2 is equal to difference between I1 and I2, either I1 minus I2 or I2 minus I1, which decides the direction. Okay, okay. In that way, we can find current flowing through any resistance. Suppose for R5, what is current flowing through R5? I3. So IR5 is equal to I3. So once we know the current flowing through resistances, we can able to find the power. Okay, if you want, suppose if you want to calculate PR1 is equal to I1 square R1. Suppose PR3 is equal to I2 square R3. Okay, so like this, using mesh analysis, one can solve the network. Okay, so any questions from anybody?